Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be exploring positions where we have an attack on the opposing king. And sometimes the attack ends up in either checkmating our king or getting him to resign before eventual checkmate. Or sometimes it can lead to other concessions, such as a material gain. So I have three game excerpts that I'm going to be showing you today, and there's a common theme behind all three, or there's a commonality behind all three games, and I'll explain it as we get into it. Okay, so enjoy the video. Okay, in this first of three games I'm going to be showing you, I'm playing black. My opponent here is playing white. He's a little lower rated than me, not much though. Our online ratings are about 50 points apart here. And this is actually in the championship round of the Team 45-45 League in the under 1800 section. Basically, all of our team members have to have an average rating under 1800. I was playing board 2, and in this case, this was the first game of the 4 matches to be played. So let me show you what happened here. And you can see here that white has actually won a pawn, and but in a way I wasn't minding because I had, as you can see here, I have a lot of pressure on this king. So the key here is to open some lines. So I start here with a4, and he plays his knight to d5, and continuing on here, I played b4. Okay, and you can see here, this is starting to get a little bit dangerous for my opponent. Okay, well, he takes, and then after I take, he places his queen here to b5, trying to trade off. Now, this is actually a mistake, and I spent a little bit of time trying to figure out how to exploit this, and I came up with the following, which ends up not being the best sequence here. He takes back, and then the two moves I had considered were rook to b8, and then the one that I played, which was bishop takes b2. Okay, sacrificing the bishop temporarily, but after rook to b8, I'm going to win back the piece. However, I saw that he was going to play and win this pawn, but my thought here, or the resulting positions, were that I would both be threatening checkmate here and winning a pawn back. So materially, I would be about even. And what happened was basically went on to draw the game. It was a difficult defense, but that's not the theme of our video, so I won't go into that. Let me show you the move I missed, and then we'll go on to our next game. Let's see here, let's go back a few moves. So in this particular position, instead of sacrificing on b2, I could have played my other idea, which is to play rook to b8, which of course is attacking this b2 square, and then the knight is forced to go back. Now, if the knight goes here, well, I'm just going to take it. Okay, so that's not a great move. And then if the knight goes here, which is what I thought he was going to do, I didn't really look far enough. I have an opportunity to win material here. So if you want, take a look and pause the video and see what you would play. Okay, in this particular position, the best move here is rook f to d8. Okay, threatening this rook. And then if I capture, now we can see that this knight is pinned. And so I'm going to win this piece. Okay, for example, if the knight moves, I'm just going to take this rook here. And if the king moves over to protect the rook, then I'm going to win the knight. So that would have won a significant amount of material. Game wouldn't be totally over, but I definitely would have a big advantage. But I didn't play that. But I guess my general advice here is that even though this pressure on the king didn't end up in a checkmate on the king, it potentially could have led to a material gain. So think about that when you're attacking the king. The best outcome sometimes is not necessarily just checkmating the king. It could be winning material, or it could be some type of positional advantage. Maybe create some weaknesses in your pawn structure. So let's look at the next example in our theme. Okay, in this game, my teammate, who is board 3 on our team, is playing white in this position. And it's a fairly quick game. It ended up being a very short game, so I'm going to show it to you from the beginning, although I'm going to not give too much commentary to the opening, since we're mainly focusing on the tactics and strategy of attacking the king. But just to give a little context, at this point in the match, myself, who is board 2, and our board 4 player both drew our games. So we were tied in this match, and so we had 2 more teammates to play, including this one. So here he starts out with e4. Kind of an odd opening, but he develops very logically. And you're going to see shortly that his opponent makes some strange decisions here. Here he plays e5, and the idea here is that if white were to take, then black would have a nice triple fork here, which would be kind of annoying. But my teammate did not go for that. Instead, he gets rid of the bishop, or tries to get rid of the bishop. The bishop captures, and white retakes with the knight. And here black plays this move, which is e5. Now, there's a problem here, which we will see positionally has some consequences later in the game. Now this bishop aiming here, and also this square is open. So we will see both of these feature in the next coming moves. Okay, so immediately my teammate goes to take advantage of that. So this was a very good strategic move. Actually, it's a tactical move too. So black tries to play this in-between move here, where the discovered attack and winning this pawn, but my teammate was having nothing of it. So here he is forking here. And of course, my teammate's opponent is going to lose this knight if he plays something like this to defend. Then we would just take back here. So instead, plays this knight over here, hoping to exchange off. But already at this point, and we can see where black's mistakes are, black has not castled, so his king is stuck in the middle, and also he has allowed, because of these pawn advances in the center, he has allowed some open lines against his own position here. So white takes advantage very nicely here, grabs his hanging pawn, but more importantly is attacking this king. So the king moves to f8, and then white makes another very good move. Bishop to h6. Now threatening all sorts of nasty discovered checks. Okay? So with that in mind, black plays his king to g8. And now, I told you it was a short game. Go ahead and pause the video and let me know if you can figure out white's last move, which will win the game. Okay, well, here is the move. It was quite a nice one. Queen to g4. Okay, threatening this attack right here, and there's really no way to stop it. Okay, I mean, if we try to just put this bishop in the way, for example, then it's just pinned, and we're going to win this piece right here. Okay, after queen to g4, his opponent resigned. Okay, gave us the advantage. Okay, let's go on to our final game. Okay, in this final game, my teammate is playing white also, and he's actually a FIDE master. So he is a very good player, rated around 2215 or 2220, somewhere around there. But he's a very strong player, and he had a very nice game here. So let's go through this. Again, going to kind of move quickly through the opening here. Black initiates a queen's gambit accepted. A problem with this, though, is that now white gets a nice broad center. Okay, this is the standard move here. By the way, his opponent's rated about 1880, so not a bad player, but a couple hundred points below him in rating here. And white plays knight to f3. So you see here that white is working on his development. He's not worrying about trying to win material here in the center. Okay, black takes on d4, and then bishop takes c4. So you can see here now we have a very aggressive setup here. Okay, knight to c6, castles, and bishop to e6. Okay, white does not want to trade pieces. Okay, because in this particular case, white wants to keep his material on the board, and in the specific position is threatening something like knight takes d4. Okay, so black defends it. Okay, white continuing with his development. So key here is speedy development, especially in an opening like this where black, by accepting this pawn on c4, kind of gave white a little bit of an initiative. Okay, protecting this knight, and here we're hitting this bishop. So you see now white is developing his pieces with tempo. He's getting to move his pieces into good positions while black has to respond. Although black's position isn't terrible here. Okay, well, black decides to take that off. Okay, now positionally, not a horrible position for black, but white has the two bishops, and you can see here it's a fairly open, fairly open lines here. So these two bishops can be very effective. Okay. Okay. Black attacks the white bishop, and so again, following that general strategy of keeping the pieces on the board when you want to attack, white retreats his bishop. Okay. Also, I think in this case, because he's higher rated than his opponent, he wants to keep his material on the board instead of going for maybe some type of trading into maybe a more drawish position. He wants to keep more dynamic tension on the board so that he can attack. Okay, black castles here. Now we noticed in the last position, or last game I showed you that black had not castled. He got him into trouble. So here we're going to see a case where white, even though black has castled into a little more safety because of these open lines, black's going to get into some trouble too. Okay, here, this is a great move here, e5, now opening this bishop to the king side. Okay, black responds here. And then, again, continuing with this initiative, he is now just trying to break open the king side. And so white is playing very well here. So black coming back to defend. Of course, if he takes here, then I think that simply queen takes e6 check is going to be is very dangerous. For example, something like this. And here, well, something like this just looks terrible. Or we can see here it's going to be lights out soon for black. So black rejected that pawn and instead brought his knight back over to defend. And white continues to just try to break open that side there. So what black does here is a kind of a smart move. He moves, instead of taking this pawn, he tries to keep this pawn now, he's trying to keep it from, keep white's pieces out by blocking it, having it block them with their own pawn. So here, white presses on anyway. And now we're starting to see some other weak points here in black's position. So black takes off one of the attacking pieces. White simply recaptures. And here, black is trying to mount some type of defense. Okay? And white is going to keep that pressure on. Okay? And here, because of this aggressive positioning of these pieces, white can now win some material. Okay, so we are have a fork here, and black brings this bishop back. Now, white could probably gain an advantage by taking this rook here, but he decides he's going for more. Bishop takes h6, and now if we take this, then queen takes h6 is checkmate. So instead, we take this pawn here so that the king can move, and now, well, black is simply in a lot of trouble here. Bishop takes, g7 check, king to g8 is forced, and here now we're going to take that rook. Okay, so you can see this king is totally wide open, and after that, notice that white doesn't take this bishop. Okay, and I think that white would still have a nice advantage after, say, rook takes, but by taking this pawn instead, he keeps this bishop or this rook out of play for one more move, and this knight is such a useful piece that there's no reason to part with it. You know, especially this piece here, which is not going to have much attacking potential, and I think he made a great decision. Okay, bishop comes out trying to attack this knight, and here this knight comes right back into the attack. Look at this. He's got this threat now of this fork. Okay, bishop has to come back, and now notice how, because we didn't take this bishop earlier, this rook is still stuck over here. He's not going to be able to get, it's going to be very difficult to get back into the game. Meanwhile, look how this knight dominates this bishop. Okay, and in this particular position, I think we can agree that white has a big advantage, and black saw this too. So black resigned. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed those examples of attacking chess, and I was very proud of my teammates. As you can see, we ended up winning the championship. So first time for me in this league. This is the Team 45 League on the Internet Chess Club. If you like this video, hit that like button. And if you're new to Better Chess Training, part of what we try to do is help increase your knowledge. In this case, giving you some ideas and principles in order to attack the king, so that you can become the hero of your own chess story. I hope you will join us for future videos. Consider subscribing so that you'll get notified when new videos come up. And I'm looking forward and I'm honored to be part of your chess journey. Good luck, and I'll see you soon.